Welcome to day 30 of 30 days of eating for me and my dog after 5 years on a carnivore diet. I'm going to optimize the diet one last time so that it includes every single vitamin, mineral, and nutrient that we need to thrive. And I'm going to meet or exceed the recommended daily allowance on every single one of those nutrients to include vitamin C. This will be the third time I've done that in this series. And we're going to finally lay to rest the notion that you cannot get everything that you need to thrive from animal products and on a carnivore diet. All right, I have a 5-ounce wild-caught salmon fillet with the skin on. 5 ounces of 75/25 local ground beef, 5 ounces of pork brain, 2 ounces of pork kidney, 2 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. I have 2 tablespoons of organic butter, and then I have 2 pasture raised local eggs. Breakfast is ready. And it does look and smell absolutely phenomenal. So the total weight of this meal is 23 ounces, which is 1.44 pounds. And the total cost is $5.09, which breaks down to $3.54 a pound. So obviously I'm being very strategic and calibrated about the foods I choose to consume. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video when I go through the nutritional breakdown, because I'm going to talk about exactly why I chose the foods I did today. And I'm also going to provide the totals for the month, and that will include calories, surplus, and cost. All right, it's dinner time for Shawnee. Let's see what's on the menu. First up, we have 14 ounces of chicken leg quarter with a very large chicken back in here for some raw meaty bones. I got this particular chicken for 87 cents a pound, so 14 ounces is 76 cents. Next up, I have some local 80/20 ground beef. I got this for $2.99 a pound. This is 4 ounces, which is 76 cents. I have 2 ounces of beef scraps. I got this for $2.99 a pound. 2 ounces is 38 cents. I have 4 ounces of chicken gizzards. I got these for $1.29 a pound. 4 ounces is 32 cents. And up in the front, I also have a chicken heart and some deer kidney. The chicken heart is included in the gizzards, and this is 100% free because I sourced this myself. I have 2 ounces of hog maw, aka hog stomach. I got this for $3.99 a pound from my local butcher shop, and 2 ounces is 50 cents. Last but not least, I have 3 ounces of chicken feet, aka 2 chicken feet. I get these for $2.24 a pound, and 3 ounces is 42 cents. As always, hiding in the back here, I have some homemade bone broth, which is 100% free. And tonight, I'm also going to include a 1/4 teaspoon of colostrum and a 1/4 teaspoon of eggshell powder for some additional calcium. So the total weight for all this food, everything that you see here, is 30 ounces. And the total cost is $3.14. And that breaks down to $1.67 a pound. Nutrient for nutrient, pound for pound. This is hands down the best that money can buy. Alright, pups fed, now it's my turn. Alright, first up, I have some local ground lamb. This is 6 ounces. I have 4 ounces of pork chop. I have 5 ounces of deboned chicken leg quarter, 5 ounces of pork brain, 4 ounces of muscles, 2 ounces of pork kidney, 4 ounces of chicken liver, 5-ounce portion of wild-caught salmon fillet with the skin on, 2 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, 2 ounces of goat cheese. I also have 2 tablespoons of organic butter, and I have 2 pasture-raised local egg yolks. And the total weight for this amazingly nutrient-dense meal is 43 ounces, which is 2.69 pounds. And the total cost for this meal is $9.41. Alright, we are ready. It looks and smells fantastic. Quite a bit of food, but I'm looking forward to digging into this. Alright, day 30, the last meal of the series, is about to be in the books. It does look and smell fantastic. I can't wait to dig into this. Even though I'm not really that hungry, I'm still going to enjoy it. But before I do, let's talk about cost. So the total for this meal, all 43 ounces, everything that you see here, is $9.41. So breakfast was $5.09. When you combine that with this, the total for both my meals, breakfast and dinner, was $14.50. And the total weight for those 2 meals was 66 ounces, which is just over 4 pounds. Now, when you factor in my dog's meal, her meal was $3.14. The grand total for the entire day was $17.64. And the total weight consumed today, my food and hers, was 96 ounces, which is exactly 6 pounds. Another fantastic meal in the books. That was pretty darn good. And it was quite a bit of food considering I was not hungry at all. But it was well worth it, and I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat. So total calories consumed, 4,022 calories. And that put me in a calorie surplus of 1,261 calories. And my target calories, of course, is 2,584. I did weigh myself again this morning. I was 168.6, which we'll get into that in a minute. But continuing on, fat to protein ratio, I had 61% of my calories came from fat, and 38% of my calories came from protein. I had 2% of my calories came from carbs, which is probably the dairy I had. Total protein consumed, 361 grams. Total fat consumed, this is going to be a little on the leaner side, 272 grams. Obviously, fat is a little more calorically dense, but I did consume quite a bit less fat compared to protein. All right, moving on down, vitamin C. All right, 110%. So we met our RDA on vitamin C for the third time on a carnivore diet using only carnivore foods. Fantastic. Very happy with that. And all that vitamin C is going to be highly bioavailable. So no scurvy for me. Iron, 5.8 times my RDA. B12, 33 times my RDA. Iron and B12 are usually going to be pretty high, especially when you add organs in there, which I did today. Calcium, 126%. Happy with that. I did not have to use eggshell powder to get it up there. That was all from the dairy and the foods I consumed, which is absolutely fantastic. Folate, 2.7 times my RDA. Good there. I'm definitely in the upper range on that. Vitamin A, 6.7 times my RDA. That got bumped up pretty high because of the liver I added in there. And I specifically went with chicken liver because it's not as high in vitamin A. Pork liver has more vitamin C, which I would have liked to have added in there, but it would have bumped my vitamin A up in a very, very high range. So by adding just 4 ounces of chicken liver, I was able to bump my vitamin C up and keep my vitamin A from going way out of bounds. So I was very strategic about the foods I picked, and what got my vitamin C up there today specifically was the brains, the pork brains, the chicken liver, the pork kidney, and the mussels. Those 4 foods is what bumped my vitamin C up into that range. Had I not included any of those 4, it would not have been 100%. Potassium, 118%, I'm good there. Most of that potassium came from the salmon, the fish and stuff I added in there, as well as the other meats. And that's the reason I included fish with both meals, was to get the potassium up there in the optimal range. All right, moving on down the list, B vitamins, straight down the board. Every single B vitamin I hit or well exceeded my RDA, so I'm good there. All right, vitamin D, I got 2 times my RDA. Again, that's another reason why I added fish. And a lot of that vitamin D also came from the eggs I added. Vitamin E, 157%. So as far as the foods I included to optimize my vitamin E, again, it was the fatty fish and the chicken, because both those things are pretty high in vitamin E. Vitamin K, if you've been watching these videos, then you know exactly how I feel about vitamin K and Chronometer, because it does not track vitamin K properly. So as always, I did my own math on this, and I will put a link in the description to the website I use to pull the vitamin K content of the foods. But here's what I came up with for vitamin K. So the grand total for vitamin K was 232.3 micrograms, which is 1.94 times my RDA, and my RDA is 120 micrograms. So again, Chronometer sucks when it comes to vitamin K, and if you track your food and you run into this problem, just use the link that's in the description and you can do your own math on that, because if you use Chronometer, it's not going to come out right. All right, copper, 4.5 times my RDA, good there. Magnesium, 101%, just above the threshold. So I met my RDA on that. I got 425 milligrams out of 420. And that is going to be very bioavailable magnesium that my body can utilize. And I'm extremely happy with that. Manganese, I got 3.8 times my RDA. Most of that came from the mussels I consumed, and some of it from the chicken liver as well. Phosphorus, 2.3 times my RDA, good there. Selenium, a little on the high side on selenium again. I got 17.1 times my RDA. Sodium, I just salt my food to taste, and I'm not worried about getting too much sodium because sodium is very essential for human health. Zinc, 4.1 times my RDA, good there. Moving on down the list to lipids, fats, cholesterol. So cholesterol is very high today. I got 10,000 milligrams of cholesterol. That might be one of the highest yet, but I'm good with that because cholesterol is very essential for the human body, regardless of what they would like us to believe. Omega-3, I got 4.8 grams out of 1.6, which put me at right at 3 times my RDA. I'm very happy with that because omega-3 is very beneficial for human health. So I'm good there. Omega-6, I got 17.8 grams out of 17, which put me at 104% my RDA. I'm good with that. Omega-3 is still a couple times higher in terms of RDA than omega-6, which means I'm going to be in a less inflammatory state because omega-6 can be kind of pro-inflammatory, and too much omega-6 without omega-3 can be kind of a bad thing, especially long-term. So overall, I feel like that's very optimal. Saturated fat, 121 grams. Trans fat, 4.5 grams. Again, all these fats, as long as they're coming from animal products and not seed oils, they are very, very beneficial and essential for human health. All right, moving down the list, proteins and essential amino acids. I never expect this to be any different, and just like every other day, it's not. I met and well exceeded every single protein and essential amino acid on the list, which always makes sense because meat and animal products are very complete protein sources. All right, so there you have it. That is the third time I met and exceeded the RDA on every single vitamin and mineral using only animal products. So I really hope that lays to rest the argument that you can't get everything that you need from a carnivore diet, because that statement is 100% false. And I've now proved that false 3 times in a row. So if you're looking to optimize a diet and you want to bump up nutrients to make carnivore as optimal as possible, hopefully this provided you with a blueprint to do that. But by all means, don't take my word for it. Go to the App Store, download Cronometer, mix and match foods, experiment, play around with it. And I think you'll find out pretty fast that duplicating my results is not that hard to do. So if you ever run into anybody that tells you you're going to get scurvy or that you can't get everything you need from a carnivore diet, refer them to these videos and let's show them why they're wrong about that. So I guess the only remaining question is all this necessary? And I think the obvious answer is that no, it's not. But if you're concerned that you're not getting everything you need, this is something that could really add some reassurance and put your mind at ease. And there's really no negative to doing this as long as you're not adding these foods in every single day, because I think by doing that, specifically with organ meats like liver, then you're setting yourself up to get too much of a good thing, and that could be problematic over a long period of time. But if optimizing is something you want to do occasionally, just to make sure you're rounding out your nutrition, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if there's a chance it's going to be beneficial and it's going to be a net positive on your health, why the heck not? After doing this and feeling the way I feel and being that satiated for such long periods of time, I definitely plan on periodically including this way of eating in my normal routine, because there absolutely does seem to be some benefits from doing this. But with that said, one last thing. Since we're on day 30, I want to go over my tallies and my totals for the entire month. And this is going to be pretty interesting, and you might be surprised by some of this. So I went through and I created a chart, and I basically logged my total food consumed, I logged my total calories, the cost of everything, and my daily surplus of calories. So that's what we're going to go over real quick. So the total food consumed for the entire month for 30 days, just for me, was 99 pounds. For my dog, she consumed 53.25 pounds. So the total cost for me for the 30 days was $321.54. And the total cost for my dog was $93.97. The total calories that I consumed for the 30 days, 118,931 calories. The total surplus that I was over on calories, based off of my target calories of 2,584, was 39,999 for the entire month. So that's a pretty big surplus, right at 40,000 calories over for 30 days. So the total food consumed, if you combine me and my dog, was 152.31 pounds. The total cost for me and my dog for the entire month was $415.01. And when you really think about that, $415 is not bad for the amount of food I consumed, because the amount of food I consumed, especially the last 15 days when I was optimizing, was a lot more than I would normally consume. And another key point is that a lot of the foods I was using for the last 15 days are some of the more expensive foods. If you cut out things like salmon, seafood, dairy, butter, cheese, all that stuff, you could really get this cost down probably by about a third or maybe even close to half. So I went through and pulled a bunch of averages, and the average food consumed for me was 52.83 ounces a day. So right at about 3¼ pounds, which again, I think the optimization period really skewed that on the higher side, because there are days that I eat, maybe 2.5 pounds of food, and I'm totally satiated and totally satisfied. The average daily cost for me was $10.70. That is not bad. That is very, very affordable. The average daily food intake for my dog was 28 ounces. The average daily cost for my dog was $3.13. So the average food consumption for me and my dog combined was right at 5 pounds. The average daily cost for me and my dog combined was $13.83. Again, that is not bad for what we've been consuming. The average daily calorie intake for me was 3,964 calories per day, and the average calorie surplus per day was 1,333. And that's another huge point that I do want to make real quick, because on this document, I also tracked my weight every day. And my weight starting out was 170.4, and then within the first 3 days, it went up to 171.2. After that, it averaged between 168 and 170. And despite eating an average calorie surplus of 1,333 calories per day, my end weight at the end of this 30 days, when I weighed myself this morning, was 168.6. So I literally lost 2 to 3 pounds while eating an average daily surplus of over 1,300 calories. So there's a huge narrative out there about calories and how they're basically the end all be all, and that's the only way you can gain and lose weight. And if it fits your macros, all this stuff about calories. And based off what I'm seeing here, based off me specifically as an individual, that statement is 100% false. Because I consumed a lot of food during this 30 days. And again, my total calorie surplus was almost 40,000 calories over a 30-day period, and I lost weight. All right, so that really says something about the food I'm consuming, and in my humble opinion, calories mean nothing to me. They are vapor. The only thing that matters to me is the food I'm consuming, what it is, where it's coming from, and what's in it. And that's it. As far as I'm concerned, that is the only thing that matters. Because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if I consumed this same amount of food and 60% of my calories was coming from carbohydrates, not even hyper-processed foods, but just specifically carbohydrates in general, my outcome by the end of this 30 days would have looked totally different. And I honestly think that the weight I've lost is body fat, because I look more vascular now than I did on day one. And I also really feel like I might have actually added a little muscle tone. I don't know, make of it what you will, but that's my stance on this. And I do plan to dive a whole lot deeper on this topic. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning on doing a bunch of follow-up videos after this series, because there's a lot of things that I've kind of noticed and I've witnessed and that I think are really important and worth diving a whole lot deeper into. So be on the lookout for some follow-up videos in the very near future, because there are some things that we need to dive deeper into and some things that simply should not be left unsaid. Optimizing this diet and doing the things I did throughout this series was a pretty amazing experience. And even after doing this for 5 years, I learned a ton of very important things that I'm going to be carrying with me throughout the rest of my carnivore journey. So I really hope you got some value out of this, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And I hope that by optimizing the diet and proving that you can absolutely get everything you need to thrive from animal products finally lays to rest the notion that you can't. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to like, subscribe, join the Apex tribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace out.